state track of the CGS is not without challenges. State focal persons are working hard to surmount these problems.
Having adequate staff, computer literacy, and funding. Then again, the political will for them to come on board and do it the CGS way. But so far, so good. We believe as time goes on, everybody will climb on board and do the right thing so that the target date of 2015 will not be a mirage.
Well, the normal challenge has been that first, buying in by all sectors of the society is one challenge, and then the two is that most of this is time-dependent process, and the release of funds by both levels of government has been that it has to do with budgeting processes, which are very much aware that both the federal and state budgets are not released, and that this time-specific project can never be achieved until we have this funds released to both the tiers of government, be it the local government tracking. But we are very much assured that the local government tracks will start almost immediately. And this is one of the prerequisites of getting that funds available. And then also the other major issue is that of terrains. The MDGs is targeting the hard-to-reach communities that have been far away from realities of development and the rest. And it means that you have to put extra efforts, extra time to get across to them. I think it's cost-cutting to all the states of the Federation. Okay.
We have numerous challenges, especially because of the siting of this project that are sited right inside the local government, the communities, the villages. We find out that the terrain, especially the topography, most of these areas are not motorable. Most of them, you cannot pass them during the rains. So these are one of the most challenging aspects of the project, and you have to meet up with time. The target they gave, is a time-bound project. And majority of the time, you find out that the roads, especially during the rains, you cannot get there. So another problem is in terms of acceptance by the communities. Most of them are feeling that the projects are just monumental buildings that have been constructed before, projects that are abandoned and all that. But they've discovered that it's not like that. So you find out that some of them find it difficult to either give space or give us a location where some of these projects will be sited. So these are some of the challenges. Another challenge is logistics. As you can see, some of us are not really, we are handicapped in terms of moving into the local areas. I'm talking about mobility. Getting to the site where the projects are to be sited with vehicles. Some of our vehicles may not be able to get there. So we need support, logistic, mobility support.
There are very, very, very hard to reach areas that have become an issue. So it is very expensive to do projects in such areas. Sometimes you find an area that is so far flung that you have to use a camel traveling over 5 hours to be able to deliver sand for the construction of a primary health care center. We have seen that. And we also have situations where you will have to travel in the high seas. In fact, there are some local governments or communities that you have to go out of Nigeria, enter Cameroon, then re-enter the local government because access is a bit difficult. So these challenges, we get them. But one thing we can always say is that one, there is absolute backing from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The leadership by the Senior Special Assistant to the President is exemplary. And the kind of commitment we've gotten from the governors and even the local government officials, I think is something that will take us there eventually. So that's what yeah.
How do we gather all of the information at all these different local levels? We're talking about, 20% of Nigeria in one program. So that's a tricky thing to get set up. We're very fortunate that the state granting mechanism already exists and has a proven track record of success in building upon those lessons and that infrastructure financially and intellectually. We're optimistic, but the planning and then heavy monitoring, setting all of that up, I think it'll take us a little while.
One of our major challenges is that we got our own approval late to most of the sites which we have. are under resettlement. So when we wanted to take over the sites, Department of Urban and Regional Planning told us that most of the sites that we have taken, especially in Abuja Municipal Area Council, Buhari Area Council, and Gwagwalada, were resettlement villages. And if we do anything there, they are going to be demolished. And we don't want to waste funds. So we had to seek for other sites. And in such areas, contractors have just mobilized. But good enough, the areas that we had no problem, some of them about 100% completed, waiting for the equipment to be moved in, and the equipment and furniture to be moved in.
There are challenges. I mean, it's a new concept. In Nigeria, people are largely used to, disbursing funds without adequate planning. But unlike the CGS process, in which we expect to look at needs assessment, do baseline survey, develop local government plan, and then based on a properly developed local government plan, funds will be dispersed. It's a new process, it's a new arrangement, and then that's the only thing, and people are not used to it. And it's like trying to get the people at that level to understand the process.
113 local government areas have been identified, 3 in each state representing 1 in each senatorial district, 3 for the FCT plus 2 LGAs hosting Millennium Villages. The selection criteria endorsed by the National Economic Council is based on needs through MDGs indicators, capacity to account for funds, quality of governance, and commitment. 3 local government areas per senatorial district were initially selected based on challenges faced on the MDGs indicators. Then, state governors were asked to make a final selection of 1 local government area per senatorial district from this list. The participants see a bright prospect for the project and are determined to work hard at making it work.
Very bright. I mean, clearly, don't forget, it's a co-financing thing. Then 2, the CGS at the state level has done marvelously well. Positive training. Don't forget that preparation is the formula for success. You give me 24 hours to cut a tree. I will spend all of 12 to 15 hours sharpening my axe, knowing fully whether if my axe is okay, I can cut down the tree. Well, tedious, hard work, but hard work never killed anybody. The prospects are very bright. We are sure by the time we've identified the challenges, we take them on head on. I believe the local government will clamber on and we'll get there.
The future is very, very bright because we're starting for the very right track. MDG for the very first time is going down to the basics. The entry point to any sustainable development begins with a baseline study, a needs assessment of people, so that we do not have political decisions. We do decisions that are right, that are really, really tackle those issues that we need to tackle right from ab initio. The engagement of the Art Institute of Colombia by the MDG is further broadening our scope, has given us a holistic approach to our community needs. And I can assure you that it will bring the best out of the local government systems because their capacities will be built, they will be able to have initiatives of their own, they will be able to run projects and programs that will really touch the lives of people. And you know that everybody in every community resides within a local government system. And that is why it is fundamental that we get it right at the local government level.
I'm very happy with MDG. In fact, if other projects in the whole federation will be working like MDG, I'm sure that within, let me say, 2015, we will get there. Because in all the projects, MDG has shown, especially Conditional Grant Scheme, they've shown that they are committed to the job, to achieving the MDG goals. I pray that it will be sustained. I pray that most of the projects will be in use, especially our health centers. They should mobilize personnel, resource persons, to be in these health centers in order to move the project forward. MDG has come to change the orientation of the people. MDG Conditional Grant Scheme has really come to make sure that Nigeria attains that 2015 Millennium Development Goal target. And I want to inform us that right now, I think Nigeria is the best in the implementation of this Conditional Grant Scheme.
We're convinced it will. We know it will succeed. We know it will succeed, and it will help the MDGs, particularly in health and education, to get children in school, to get children adequately educated through the first 9 years, to get fewer children dying for silly reasons, for things we could prevent, and we have the technology to prevent. This program gets it there, and it gets it there at a large scale. For women dying in giving birth, the maternal mortality challenges. And then there are these infectious diseases that affect everybody in the population that shouldn't, that don't need to. We've got vaccines for them, we've got treatments for them. We want to get those out, and that's what this is about. And Colombia is honored to support and absolutely convinced that this is the right set of leadership to make it happen. We have seen it happen, the MDGs be met in some countries, in some areas. People have been skeptical that Nigeria can do it, actually. But the government has consistently said it will. And we are fully convinced that it's not just the national government that says that and the state governments, but we actually think the local governments, where really what we call the rubber hits the road, that last mile where we decide whether the vaccine gets out or doesn't get out, or whether the kid comes to clinic or the child doesn't come to clinic, that happens at the local level. And this program goes down to that local level. We are more optimistic about this than we are about anything else that we're doing at Earth Institute. And our director, Jeffrey Sachs, has a view from the top of the world on many of these MDG questions because he's the advisor to the Secretary General of the United Nations on the MDGs. And he is most enthusiastic now about what this program's doing in Nigeria. I've told people here, but it's very true that the eyes of the world are watching to see what will happen, and we're convinced it will be an inspirational story.
For now, we are looking at 113 local governments, and then it's important for you to understand the basis for the 113. The 113 are the selected one per senatorial zone. You know, we have 109 senatorial zones in the country, and then we have 36 states and FCT. In essence, we are going to have one local government per senatorial zone of the country. That is 3 per state. And then the basis for selecting the 3 local governments that will participate, that are participating already, because I mean we're already in the process of implementation, is based on the indices, education and health, the ones that are low, the ones that are not doing very well. So if you look at the local government that are part of this process, they are not the local government that you are used to. I mean, when you come to your state, you are used to the urban local government that the access to education, access to water, access to health. No, we are looking at those local governments in each senatorial zone, you know, that they are not doing as well as others. So these are, I mean, we are trying to intervene in the local governments that are low, down. And then the idea is that by doing that, we are trying to attain.
The conditional grant scheme to local government areas is an urgent and unique initiative to empower local governments to attain the MDGs in a sustainable manner. With the identification of the participating LGAs and the sensitization meeting hosted by FCT MDGs office, the conditional grants to local government areas is set to take off before this month runs out.